In the most improbable way, the Dallas Cowboys have seen their 2020 season come to a close. 23-19 was the final score. This is the first word presented by Dr. Pepper, and what will be the final first word presented by Dr. Pepper here in 2020 as the Dallas Cowboys fall to the New York Giants. They fall to 6-10 on the season and are officially eliminated from playoff contentions, where you've got a lot to react to. Let's just say the least in that fourth quarter and even a second half comeback after a very slow start from the Dallas Cowboys. But to break it down, I'm joined by a trio of former Dallas Cowboys: Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, and Nate Newton. Isaiah, and I want to start with you on that far side over there because there's a lot to talk about whenever it comes to some of the decision-making down the stretch. Lots of close calls. Could have been bang-bang on a couple of them. But I want to start on the 4th down and 1 from the 39-yard line that was not challenged flip that before then. I want to go to the no challenge on the Pettis catch, no catch, and what you thought about that decision that led to the final field goal that ultimately ended up being the game winner.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we understand that, in the game and in post-game are two different scenarios, right? We understand that the pressures are totally different. We're looking at it from a different set of eyes. However, when you're in that situation and you're as a coach, you have to give your team every opportunity to win the game. And I think if there was any play that McCarthy wished he had back, it definitely was that play, simply because, hey, if I throw it out there, I throw my flag, my red flag, whatever they want to call the red bag out there, the challenge flag. I at least give my guys a chance at getting the ball back and have an opportunity to have a stop there. Had we had that stop, we wouldn't be trying to throw the ball down in the red zone. We would have kicked the field goal, and we were looking at overtime instead of sitting here on the first word.
It's a lot of things leading up to that. Leonard Williams had a nice day, the defensive tackle for the New York Giants. But I tell you, man, you got people upstairs looking at that. It could have been, trying to tell them, hey, coach, make the call or don't make the call. So it's a lot goes into that. So I don't know what he was thinking, but it was a major move.
Yeah, it was a major move, and it was a big part of this game. I mean, look, if we challenge that and it ends up being an incomplete pass, I think they're out of field goal range. They punt the ball, and like you said, we're not, setting 5 wide receivers out in the red zone trying to throw the ball. We're in field goal range. But, I mean, I can't put it solely on that call at all. I mean, the Cowboys put themselves in this situation by not playing their best football when they needed to. And so this was kind of that microcosm of the whole season. We started out strong, and we seem not to be able to finish games. And that's what happened this year. And too bad the season's over with.
Well, and it's fitting seemingly all season long. What was the struggle on the offensive side of the football? In the red zone. It was always the red zone where the Cowboys ultimately struggled, and, well, it came down to a red zone stand for New York and a pick of Andy Dalton. Xavier McKinney coming up with the interception, the rookie out of Alabama, really kind of sealed the deal. Then the Cowboys had an opportunity late when Wayne Gallman Jr. fumbled the football, but there were multiple opportunities to close out a Giants team that just has not been very good. You give up 20 points in the first quarter to a team that has struggled to hit 20 points all season long. What did you think about the defense today, Isaiah, and how the Cowboys really kind of struggled from the get-go?
Yeah, the defensive side of the ball, I thought we played very soft in terms of our coverage. Our defensive line did not have a big enough presence. They were able to run the ball when they wanted to. And then in the passing game, Sterling Shepard was completely destroying us. I mean, he was just running whatever routes he wanted to. With our soft coverage, it almost appeared as if they were running routes on air, which is what you do in pregame when it's just you guys playing catch. And you talked about that last little series down there in the red zone for our offense. That was just all out bad. We had a misassignment there, which allowed big Leonard Williams to again come in there and get another big play.
We talk about it, and we saw how at the beginning of the season, the penalties at the wrong time, the turnovers, all of these things. Today it showed back up again. We get them off the field, we come up with a Jordan Lewis bad move. I mean, you go up and just butt a man in the head. Instead of you playing smart, it's all right to talk a little noise and to get up on somebody, but to butt a man and give a guy a first down for them to go down and score, you have to be smarter than that.
Yeah, you got to be smarter than that. And as a whole, I got to say, I'm pretty disappointed with the way the secondary played out there today. This winning streak they had, these 3-game winning streak, everything was kind of bottled in. They didn't let anything get over the top of their heads. And today it was the complete opposite. I mean, Darius Slayton had his way out there. And as you mentioned, Shepard, I mean, he was routing up anybody that tried to cover him. AB tried to get up on him. Wilson, all those guys tried to, but they just couldn't contain this guy. Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones went out there and did what he had to do. He was not a turnover machine like we thought we were going to get in the pregame, but overall, man, the secondary just didn't come to play, and as a whole, the defense didn't either.
Well, he still gave you a couple opportunities, threw an interception, and then had the fumble on the handoff to Gallman early in the game. But when it comes to emotional games and playing like this for a play-in type of scenario, but is there any kind of, I guess, pushback, you would say, from a Cowboys standpoint in playing in these big-time, prime-time, win-or-go-home type of games? Because it seems like over the past decade, maybe even 2 decades, they just haven't been able to take advantage, Isaiah.
Honestly, I'm disappointed in the play of the guys today and their emotional intelligence. I've talked about that earlier in the season, and today they showed a lack thereof it. It seemed like the Giants have been in the playoffs substantially more, or they were better prepared mentally for this game. The Giants were the antagonists, right? They were antagonizing our guys, and our guys were responding with emotional responses the way in which they wanted to, and it resulted in the Jordan Lewis, whatever it was, whatever flag he had there. And then there was a unsportsmanlike conduct. There's a couple more on there as well. And they controlled us, and it was disappointing.
Yeah. You know, we have an offensive lineman with a play, Kevin Gogan. You know, he would purposely butt somebody, in the pile, pinch somebody, push somebody, so you would get up and act up. Mm-hmm. And that's what we did. But the immaturity that we showed, we should be past that. The bigger the game, the better the players. And we've shown that we're not mentally ready for the big games. You had an opportunity to set yourself up to come back off the plane and chill out and let's watch the Redskins. Mm-hmm. The Washington football team. But we blew all of that.
Yeah, I'm going to make it short and sweet, man. New York came out here with a different energy in all 3 phases. They were prepared to play. They were ready for the moment. They knew that their playoff lives were on the line, and they played like it. And as the Dallas Cowboys, we didn't, and we squandered an opportunity to try to punch our playoff ticket. And New York right now, they're waiting on this Philadelphia-Washington game. 23-19, the final score. New York, like you said, putting them in position to be the first team in NFL history to go 6-10 and make the postseason should Washington lose tonight to Philadelphia. The Cowboys also wrap up a top 10 pick for the first time since 2016. 23-19, the final score. That'll do it for the first word. More to come on DallasCowboys.com.